What do you think, Chad?
Ready.
You ready to do this?
Ready.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the movies. I'm Clint Schaffer. This is my buddy Chad Weeks, and we're the Mirko Movie Gags.
We're a couple guys who like movies and like to talk about movies. Clint, what movie are we finally going to watch tonight?
Well, I tell you what, Chad, before we can get into talking about this much-anticipated movie, we need to talk about where are we sitting?
Yeah, absolutely. We're at the Westland Theaters in Burlington, Iowa. They're our sponsor this week. And I got my popcorn here. This is the big bucket. So with this bucket, it's $15, $3.50 refills all through this year. Not only this year, but through 2022 as well.
So all through 22 even.
Yep, absolutely. So we got $3.50 refills. Plus, you can get the Trevor, the manager here, was talking earlier that you can get a big deal. I think is what he called it, and it is a refilled bucket plus 2 large drinks for $14.
I think there was a $3.50 candy in there as well.
I keep forgetting the candy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who doesn't like the candy? What is your candy?
Oh, I'd go peanut M&Ms all day long.
I'm a Milk Duds guy.
Yeah, well,
Milk Duds.
You look like a Milk Duds guy. Now, what about there's like a card as well, isn't there?
There is a card. Thanks for asking. Do you have a card?
I don't have a card, not yet. I'm going to purchase mine tomorrow, or get mine.
The CEC
tonight.
Theaters. CEC Theaters Star Rewards card. Okay, so CEC Theaters, Westland is a CEC Theaters. I've said CEC Theaters too many times, but they're an affiliate of them.
There you go. Finally got through that one.
Yeah, absolutely. Every time I come here though, it's like I have free drink or free something or whatever.
Get a little something off your rewards for being a good customer.
You get free tickets, all that stuff. So just whenever you come here, and for guys like you and I that come to the movies all the time, like that's a necessity. Like,
see, now I realize why Chad was the one that purchased all of our tickets, because
Correct.
we rented out this whole front row for our family tonight. And
don't worry, I'll put it on. I'll buy them. You can just pay me back.
You're getting the rewards.
I get all those reward points. Absolutely.
So when I Venmo you, am I getting rewards from you at all?
No. Hi, Chris. High five.
All right, fair enough.
So, what movie are we watching tonight?
So we are watching again the much anticipated Black Widow.
Yes, finally watching Black Widow. Been delayed for a while, but again, this isn't like a delay like we've had with the Fox movies. Again,
Dark Phoenix and
New Mutants, which
right?
I actually like. Have you seen New Mutants?
I have, yeah.
I like New Mutants.
Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah, it was very good.
It.
But I did not like Dark Phoenix. I think that was a stain on the history of the X-Men. Like, that was just a bad movie. But
I see that.
Yeah, but this one, it's been delayed for other reasons, and I fully believe that this is the type of movie that you need to see in a theater. You need to see it in a theater with a bunch of people, and you need to see it preferably on a big LDX screen like we're here at the Westland. But you got to see it in the theater. Otherwise, you won't get the full anticipation. You don't watch it at home. There's a reason that Disney and Marvel wants you to watch this in theaters. The reason they didn't release it on like they did Mulan or whatever like that. Go see it in a theater. This is what you need to do.
Well, I tell you what, that's I'm just happy we're getting back to the time that we can go back to theaters, right?
Correct.
But specifically Marvel movies, right? I rank Marvel movies the same way that I put Star Wars movies. I think you need to go see every one of them, release night, in the theater, get the biggest screen, get the comfiest chair, and go watch it, right? And I know you'll probably make fun of me on this, but I have 3 S's and a P.
Of course you have of course. I'll bite. What are your 3 S's and a P?
Okay.
Okay.
The sights, the sounds, and the smells of a movie theater cannot be beat. You walk through the door, and if you think about the sights, you get to see the what's coming next and all the posters, and everybody's standing in line, which is awesome, right?
Yeah, just seeing the movie theaters or the next movie's coming out on the posters.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, you're right.
So you got the sights, the smell of the popcorn.
Oh yeah.
You have a awesome sound system in your house, but it ain't this.
No, nothing
and so
like this.
The sounds, you just hear more of the movie. And then the last one, the P, that's the people.
Yeah.
I tell you what, I don't know about y'all. I've been missing hanging out with folks over the past, a little over a year. And there's something about Marvel movies, again, Star Wars movies I'd rank there as well. People are going to be in different attire. We're going to be rocking Marvel T-shirts. There's going to be people here that'll probably be dressed up as the Black Widow or dressed up as Loki or something of that nature.
Hope there is, yeah.
it's always a blast to see that. Same thing with Star Wars, right? You always see the lightsabers and people dressed as stormtroopers, and it is just an experience that I love taking my family to. If you haven't experienced that, get out and do it. You will not regret it.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't. This is like I said. This is where you need to be watching movies, and I'm glad you brought that up because the people factor is something you don't really take into a movie theater experience, but like a collective gasp when something surprising happens, or cheering when something,
or an applause.
Yeah.
I mean, it's funny because everybody thinks everybody has to be like dead quiet, and we don't want you talking about your daily life while you're watching a movie.
Exactly.
But to share the emotion when you're watching a movie, there's nothing more, nothing better than that. I get chills thinking about it.
Think about just being quiet, like talking about that. Chills thinking about it. Do you remember walking out of the Chris Kyle movie? I can't remember what it was called right now.
American Hero,
American Sniper, wasn't it?
American Sniper. Yeah, there you go.
American Sniper. When we walked out of that theater, nobody made us. It was the quietest I've ever heard walking out of a theater because it was such a solemn.
Well, the end of that is a memorial. I mean, so it was like you're literally walking out of
a funeral.
Of a funeral. I mean, that's what you felt like.
Yep,
and,
that's exactly right.
And everybody shared that sentiment when you're walking out of the movie theater.
And that's
that place was packed too, if you remember.
Just
that.
absolutely jam-packed. And that's what I mean. Like that's the type of stuff that you experience with other people and makes your movie experience better. That's why you got to go see these movies in theaters. It's just not the same. Plus, I feel like you're a little too free if you're watching at home, like to pick up your phone or to play with a cat or something. Like you're always a distraction. Here, it's nothing but the movies, and don't be on your phone in the movies, please. Like that's the
Yeah,
I throw popcorn. I'm a popcorn thrower. If you're on your phone.
Well, here's the other thing though, too, Chad. I mean, you and I grew up in a day where there wasn't any cell phones, so it's like y'all can go without.
Yeah, exactly.
Looking at Snapchat or sending a tweet or whatever, you can go a couple hours without doing that. The world is not going to fall apart.
There's nothing like if you're if you're really worried about getting a phone call or something like that, you probably shouldn't be at the movies right now.
Exactly.
Just stay home. Yeah.
So hey, back to the movie with Black Widow again. I mean, we've been waiting for this. We've been waiting for everything here. But what are you wanting out of it?
Yeah. So my big thing is I don't want this to be a one-off. I don't want it to be something that we watch this movie and then it just becomes, a piece of the puzzle that we never talk about again. Just like filling in a backstory.
You don't want an origin story. You don't want a Rogue One. You want something that's going to carry some weight.
I want something to be taken place into the MCU, into Phase 4. I want this to bring us into Phase 4, and I hope it's Florence Pugh.
See, I'm right there with you. I don't really truly know what to expect. I honestly I haven't even looked too much into this movie just because I don't want to spoil a whole lot for me. But I hope that we're just getting some sort of nuggets going into Phase 4, right? That this has some sort of tie to that, especially with where it's coming out at, right? We've had WandaVision. We've had Falcon and the Winter Soldier. We're right in the middle of Loki.
Yep.
Where does this tie into that, right?
Yes. And that's just it. I hope it all ties into there somehow.
And how does it tie into Shang-Chi? How does it tie into Spider-Man or Doctor Strange, right?
Yep.
How does it start tie or the Eternals, right?
Yep.
How does it tie into all these things?
Yep, that's exactly right. And like I said, like Florence Pugh is one that I want to be involved in the MCU going forward because I absolutely love her. I love her as an actress. Little Women is one of the movies that she's in. She did a great job in there. I think she might even got at least an Oscar nomination for it, maybe an Oscar for it.
Nice.
But regardless, I'd like to see her maybe carry on the mantle or some sort of thing. But I just know that Marvel's not going to just. They don't do anything for jest. There's no. There's nothing that doesn't matter. They go all the way back to the little boy in Iron Man 2. They say is supposed to be Peter Parker. They have a lot of backstory. There's nothing wasted. By Kevin.
Do you remember there was that meme that was going around of just showing the sheer detail of Marvel. And it shows when Cap throws his shield or something, and it shows the photograph that was taken, and then it actually shows another scene where it shows the photographer who would have been taking that picture, down to that minute detail that you would never see as even a movie watcher.
It was in Captain America, the original one, the first Avenger, where he rips that that
the door off of the car.
Rips the door off and use it. So they have the door or was it the door? I think it was the door and a picture of the door
in the museum.
Yep. And then you go back to the movie and you can see the photographer there taking the picture. It's like, how do you do that? How do you the way just genius minds.
Yeah.
That this all ties together.
Kevin Feige, man, he's got it. He's got it. The other thing that I guess that we need to also look at is just kind of level setting on where we're going into this at, right? So. Spoiler alert if you've been hiding under a rock, but Black Widow's dead.
Yes.
So she gave up her life for the so Hawkeye could get the Soul Stone.
Yeah. Great scene. Great scene.
Great
Again,
scene.
if you didn't experience that in a theater, I don't think you got the same feeling. That was
true.
That was a collective
But I mean, so she's not in it. My question becomes now with Loki, I mean, there's all sorts of different possibilities that can end up happening with her. I mean, with Scarlett Johansson.
With her specific, yeah. Wow. Okay, so I guess you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right because now with this Loki series that's going on, and if you haven't seen it, you should definitely watch it because it's fantastic. Yeah. All bets are off, really. Like you can change pretty much anything now, and then adapt. Yeah, I love it. I love that thought.
Any and all details are fully on the table at this point.
I don't see that happening here. I don't see, but I do like the fact that there's a possibility of it.
I'm getting a feeling that Johansson's done.
Oh, I
right.
Do too.
I mean, I feel like this is her putting a bow on her story.
I don't want to put words in her mouth, but I feel like that she wanted to move on. Same thing with Chris Evans. I feel like they just wanted to move on to something else and do something different. Robert Downey Jr., all these guys that were.
I still have to ask why.
Yeah.
Why? You got a good thing going. Keep it rolling.
Yeah. God bless them all. Like they really have been a part of our lives for a long time though. Like we really and I always talk about this how actors and actresses are, like you get this infatuation with them or whatever, but it's natural because you feel like you know them because you've watched them play these roles for years and years.
RDJ played it from 2008, right?
Yep, exactly.
You also look at I always go to Hugh Jackman, right? It's another one. Which did you see? Hugh Jackman just tweeted a picture of the claws, and then he then tweeted another picture of him and Kevin Feige together.
Really?
Yeah, like back to back.
Man, so. I'm
like, is this?
I saw something.
What's happening here?
I saw something that said Wolverine or Hugh Jackman hints at something, but I didn't.
Yeah,
I didn't
picture of the claw and him and Kevin Feige.
Again, I'll take it back. I'll take Hugh Jackman back. Bring him back.
Next thing you know, Hugh Jackman is going to be fighting the Black Widow here tonight. So.
Yeah. But that's just it. You never underestimate the ability of Marvel to surprise you. Even when you think you've got the whole thing planned out, they have a way of just saying, no. Check this out.
Yeah.
And it always works. They've never failed. That Marvel has never failed. The MCU, the Disney side, they've never failed in their movies at all, in my opinion. Everything's been great.
No, it's all been spot on. So no, that's for sure. Well, I tell you what, I want to give another shout out to Westland Theaters here for letting Chad and I come in and be some squatters here in our longest introduction to a podcast ever, by the way.
But it's gonna be great because the after this we'll have seen a movie. We have no clue what's gonna happen.
No,
this was great. We have no clue what this movie's about.
No, So I'm gonna come back here tonight, where all of us are.
Yep, whole family.
Have this whole row.
Family movie night.
I'm gonna buy a bucket. I'm gonna sign up for a rewards card so you don't keep getting all these rewards. And also, you even it's not in the shot right now. We'll have to get it in the shot maybe a little later after we watch a movie. But
poster,
also got an awesome poster.
Yeah, exactly.
So anyway,
sure.
Yeah.
But
so I mean, we talked about like what we're looking forward to in the movie. What about the trailers? There's always something special there, and I know you're a huge trailer guy.
Yeah, so I get oddly excited about movie trailers. And my family knows that too. So like it's always one of those things like we can't be like the trailer started at whatever time. We have to be here sitting in our chair for those trailers because I want to.
You miss a trailer, you're late.
Yes, that's exactly right. You don't want to be coming in as a trailer.
There are people though that we both know that if they have to sit through the trailers, they're like early. They're like, no, we want to show up right when like the movie's starting. I think that's one of the most exciting parts is to watch some of the trailers.
Absolutely, because you know that there's going to be some really good trailers out there today. One of them that I'm expecting is Shang-Chi. which I have been more and more excited about Shang-Chi as I've seen the last trailer, actually. And I'd like to see it on the big screen here with the Abomination. You're bringing in the Abomination. So I feel like that's going to tie into the MCU much more than I anticipated as well. So.
Wait a second. The Abomination was part of Hulk. Hulk and the Black Widow.
Here we go.
Here it is.
Yeah, actually, Emil Blonsky. That sounds a lot like Natasha Romanoff. Like that sounds like they could be from maybe there's some sort of tie in there too. I don't know.
Oh man, I tell you what. Now we're just getting way too excited about this.
Yeah, but again, I wouldn't put anything crazy like that past the MCU.
The trailer that I want to see, I mean, that also like over half the world wants to see, which is Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the one I want to see.
The thing is, they are waiting for something to happen, and maybe it's the movie tonight. Maybe that's what it is.
Yeah.
But they're waiting for something to happen until they release their trailer, and I think it's because the trailer will give you there's going to be some sort of implications in the MCU, Loki or whatever, that's going to say.
I keep going back. I think a lot of things are hinging on Loki because I think Loki's story is key to setting up the Phase 4. I think Loki so far, and again we don't want to talk about this too much, but Loki is setting things up way more in depth than I think even WandaVision or even Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
I think WandaVision started it, and Falcon and the Winter Soldier was more of a story about just getting Sam the shield, making him the new
Captain. Transition to new Cap,
and
right?
now you've got Loki that's going to set up Phase 4. That's my thought process too. So I'm with you on that, and that is going to tie right into Spider-Man, which is going to tie into Doctor Strange,
the multiverse of madness.
Yes, exactly.
So, Doctor Strange has to fix everything that's going to happen in Loki.
Yep.
Like
from Loki and WandaVision too.
Yeah,
that's
true.
Yeah, a lot of stuff's going to happen.
So well, I tell you what. With that, I think we're at the end of the introduction. This very long introduction. So with that, I think we need to grab your popcorn.
Yeah, preferably in your CEC Theaters bucket.
There you go.
And fill up your drinks.
And we're gonna take a little break, and then we're gonna go enjoy the show and come back and record and give you all of the insights and our thoughts into what we watched tonight with the Black Widow. So. Stay tuned and hang tight. So here we are at the Westland movie theaters, about to watch. What are we watching, guys? Black Widow. You guys excited for it?
Yes.
Yeah, this is gonna be awesome. I can't wait for it. So, well, hey, let's go in. Let's go get some popcorn and let's get some drinks. And let's go watch this. All right, here we go. What's your who's your favorite Marvel superhero?
Oh man. I'd probably go with Doctor Strange.
Oh, such a great pick.
But,
yeah.
Just because he's cool, and I can't wait for the first horror movie.
Yeah, Chad's family. How y'all doing?
Good. How are yourself?
You guys excited to see Black Widow?
We are. This is our favorite people.
And us.
You are our favorite people.
First, we're going with Trevor.
Okay.
All right.
No problem.
Out of all the Marvel movies, what is the best? What is the worst?
Well, there's a toss-up between the best, Winter Soldier and
I told you that's the most popular.
and
It is.
Endgame.
All right. Winter Soldier and Endgame.
The worst, probably Iron Man 3.
Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Jackie, what?
What's your favorite superhero?
Okay, who is your favorite superhero?
I sympathize with the villain more, so
Oh.
I gotta go with Loki.
Loki. Have you been watching the series?
I have been trying to keep up with it, but I've been working so much, so
Yeah.
unfortunately, but when I get home, I'll be on episode 2.
Hey, you got a great job to keep up with the
Yeah,
movie world.
absolutely,
though. So,
absolutely.
I mean, that's awesome. So, what has been your favorite part of the first couple episodes?
I don't know, the dynamic between Owen Wilson's character and Tom Hiddleston.
yeah.
I do like
makes
that
everything great,
dynamic.
doesn't he?
Yeah.
Hey, everybody, welcome back. Chad, that was a heck of a movie.
Great movie. So great way to start back into the MCU, get back into the movies. First off, it wasn't what I was expecting in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Like the action, like started from the very beginning and never let up. I think at the critical moments in the movie were the only times where it even had any lull at all of just constant action, which I think is so cool that you don't see that as much from the Marvel movies as a whole.
You know, it was interesting I would totally agree. Very action-packed film.
Yeah.
Before we get to that, though, I do want to just toss it back to just say that movie theater is absolutely wonderful. So
great people, really,
Yeah, the Westland Theater, hats off to all of you. We took our families there tonight, and y'all made us feel like home.
Yeah, they were really ready to like answer questions, and they had great answers too. Great answers,
absolutely. And the other thing too, I mean, it was funny. I was talking to Jackson and to Devin there afterwards, and they're like, "I can't believe how comfortable the chairs were." But that LDX theater and those chairs, top notch, man. That's the Cadillac.
Well, yeah, you think about that. That's a good point to bring up because a lot of theaters you go to, and it is kind of a stiff, rugged seats, but those LDXs are great.
Yeah. So anyway, hats off. Thanks again for having us in there. So that was wonderful. Now back to the movie. You said it. From the word go, it's just going.
Just nonstop action, and it is such cool action. First off, Taskmaster. Man, I love Taskmaster. Taskmaster was awesome in so many ways, and big part of the Marvel comic book universe. But to see the him in here was just great. Like it was.
Is Taskmaster is Taskmaster always a bad guy, or is he like an anti-villain?
I've never known him as less than or anything but a bad guy.
Okay, just
pure bad guy. Yeah,
just a villain. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you what, seeing Taskmaster right out of the gate, I mean, because it wasn't too far into the movie. It wasn't. I mean, it wasn't the first few scenes, but I mean, it was.
Everybody knows. We're gonna keep the spoiler free, but everybody knows Taskmaster's gonna be in there.
Yeah.
I've been talking about that one for a while. That's in a cool costume.
Yeah,
super
I thought it was
cool
really,
costume.
really cool costume. The other thing that I was kind of interested in seeing, you know, we always talked about this, you know, hey, is this going to be an origin story? Is it not going to be an origin story? You said in the intro that you thought it was going to be after Civil War, which that is accurate. But there is a little bit of origin story in here.
Yeah.
But not all the way back to the origin. We really didn't see how Black, you know, or how our Black Widow, right?
Yeah.
I mean, how she really got her true start.
No.
We got to see a little bit of it, but and if you go to
you're
watch
right.
it, you'll kind of see
You're right.
it.
It hinted at an origin story, but it wasn't an origin story at all.
No,
I mean,
like when you're first watching it, you're like, this is an origin story, and then you get 10, 15 minutes into it, and it's like, this actually, it's not 100% origin yet.
But if you go back to Age of Ultron, they kind of did a little bit of an origin story there, where they were training her. That was in. That was like a more of a mind.
Oh, that
thing.
was like in that ballerina studio or whatever. Yeah.
So there's a little bit of that. They actually didn't go into that at all. But
No. I do have to say, you know, I mean, we talked about it again in the intro. You get to find out what happened in Budapest.
do you really though? Like you say that, but like
You do, absolutely.
the
you
way
do.
they describe it doesn't seem like that's what they're talking about. So there's some Budapest stuff in there, which I love the fact that they bring up Budapest versus Budapest, because in the intro I said Budapest and I'm like, am I gonna sound like an idiot there? But I'm glad that
Budapest.
Budapest, yeah.
Yeah.
So they actually had that argument there too. So
Yeah.
which with OT, who's OT?
I'm not sure.
I have no clue. I have no clue in the comics. I don't know if that's a thing. I don't know if he's but just somebody that was a major character throughout the movie. Kind of seemed like they were just kind of dropped in. And yeah.
The other piece and speaking of OT, he reminded me of. Like, he almost felt like he needed to be in like one of like the Expendable movies or something, right? Like, isn't that like the guy that just always shows up and just has all the cool stuff?
Yeah.
Like that is that's where I feel like he almost came from. You know what I mean? But no, the other piece I wanted to hit on too that I thought this movie did a I'm going to use it fantastic job at.
Yeah.
Which that was focusing on the relationship between the sisters.
So
and I thought that was cool from the start.
So yeah. So the thing is, they've had relationships with Natasha throughout the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So they, you know, she's kind of had a thing with Barton as a friendship type of thing. She's kind of had a relationship with the Hulk, Bruce Banner, but This one, those two, they worked great together. Like they had a great charisma. They were awesome on screen together. Every second they were great. And what's her name? Natasha Romanoff. What's her real name? Yeah. When you think about it, then it's usually we mark this stuff up there, but this was all obvious stuff. But
Johansson.
Scarlett Johansson. Jeez.
Wow.
Yeah. Whenever you try and force something, it's right there. But she did great. There's no doubt about that. But again, I'm going to say it. Florence Pugh was awesome.
And Florence Pugh is the other gal.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
Yes.
I really liked her character. I liked her story arc throughout this whole thing. I like how it started with her, especially in the older years. I liked that scene between like her and the other gal when we kind of figured out a few things.
Right, yeah.
That was action packed, and you got to see that, kind of that quick transition. But I liked it.
And the vulnerability too. She was very vulnerable, and sometimes where it was just like I want a family too.
There is a huge family arc to this story, and that
cool.
That's what you'll end up seeing throughout the entire thing. And these are, the entire program is essentially little girls that have been kidnapped and kind of forced into this, right? Yeah. So they don't really have a real mom and dad at that point. And you really start playing on these, probably 25 to 30-year-old women that are fighting that piece, right? Of where is my family, who is my family, or who are my family. And it was a really cool story arc on that.
And this is the first movie that I've seen that has like a pure. I mean, I wouldn't say the first movie I've seen, because there's been some, but especially for Marvel to take this big of a leap and have such a woman-centric character where it is all about how awesome. Like, this is a lot of girl power, but it's not in your face as much in your face as what Captain Marvel was. So not on the nose, I guess is what I'm saying. Like this would
be somewhere that landed, not so much on the nose as Captain Marvel, but somewhere as compelling as the original Wonder Woman, as like that. It was just kind of split between two characters, though, right?
But the thing is, you don't have men to pick up the like a Chris Pine in there or anything that. This is all just women actresses, and you had a few men scattered in there throughout, but the power was always the women. They were always the heart of the show. Man, it was great. It was a great movie. I really like what they did with it.
The strongest guy in the movie was also the comic relief.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
So I mean, he was the dummy. He was the just kind of a big ogre guy. So I mean, which is incredibly different than what we have seen in previous.
Yep.
And even into like the villain story arc, right? With the whole Black Widow network. As they dove into that. I liked that storyline. I liked the villain that went along with it. I liked the the secondary villains that went along with it.
Yeah.
And everything felt like it flowed pretty well.
Yeah, I totally agree. And again, it never felt rushed, but it was so quick paced, like breakneck pace from the beginning. It was in your face action, and just you gotta keep up.
Here's the one thing that it was funny. Quickly early on, one of my as I'm sitting here thinking about the things that I need to talk about this in a podcast here like directly after. Yeah. So I'm trying to take notes, and one of the things that kind of one of my realizations, there was a couple fight scenes that were just getting to the brink of too long.
You
right?
thought so?
I did, but it did never cross a line. Is my point?
Yeah,
they were always the perfect amount of time. But if it would have went, it was like the perfect amount tickling the long.
Yeah.
Right? There was a couple of those fight scenes that it's like, it is.
See,
nothing bad though. Again, it's quick. It's fast paced.
My thought process was throughout the movie was I love the action. I just didn't see Natasha going all Natasha on him like she has, and like she wasn't really just in one of those battles where it's completely odds are against her type of thing, and then all of a sudden it does. And it's like, okay, awesome, here it is. Here's what you've been waiting for, to make her the the main character, that sort of thing.
Yeah, and the other piece too that I enjoyed watching on this was we've talked about some of the fighting before that there's sometimes that the fights are too fast.
Yep.
And you don't get to see anything.
Batman. Every Batman movie is just too fast. You don't know what's happening.
This was, again, they were the perfect length of time that I would still go back to that. And they were like the perfect speed.
Yeah.
That one at the beginning, and they're sitting there fighting, and she drops the knife with one hand and grabs it with the other hand, and they kind of slowed it down just enough for you to see it and just be like, that was such an awesome move.
Yeah. Yeah, and also so talk about that. This is that's like 10 minutes into the movie. And the violence factor here was so much more than I expected. Like everything.
Well, that's because everything is a knife.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Like, there's a lot of knife
and
stuff.
brutality.
Yeah.
I mean, there was brutal punches and headbutts. Just an awesome movie. I loved it. I loved the action. I loved it.
This was also they fixed something in this movie that I've complained about in others. Okay, on Marvel.
Okay.
They completely explain very well. And if you've watched the rest of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, you get it. Why don't the other Avengers come in and help anything?
Yeah, I thought the same thing.
It's like, well, no, they can't. We're after Civil War, where the people are in hiding. They got the
Sokovia
Accords. You know, they got all this stuff. They're broken apart.
Yeah. They basically said you're on your own. Nobody's going to save you.
So it was actually one of the first times that Marvel has just nailed why didn't somebody else show up?
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And it's like, well, that's why.
Yeah, she's on her own, completely on her own.
Yeah. Closest movie I would compare this to, and I think we probably knew this going into it, very close to a Jason Bourne movie.
I was going to say Jason Bourne, yeah. Definitely Jason Bourne. I mean, but you kind of got the same backstory. I think we might have even mentioned this in the the opening. But you've got the same backstory with basically, kids getting raised up as these,
right.
Yeah. And then the fight scenes, everything. It was very, very similar to a Jason Bourne type of movie.
And I even liked, as we got later on into the movie, some of the decisions that had to have been made. Right. I like the you'll see this one part that you'll absolutely fall in love with, which is the I'm going to call it the sever the nerve part.
Yeah.
I mean, that was just such a cool. First off, I didn't see that coming.
No.
I missed that part.
Yeah, I did too.
I didn't.
But that's just it. Like that's the beauty of Marvel. They've always got you on your toes, and just when you think everything's going to happen, they change it and they flip it around on you, and they give you something else to be excited about.
That caught me off guard.
Yeah,
like it took me a minute when he made the one comment about looking into her eyes. It took me a minute. I'm like, I still don't get it. You just told me exactly what's happening, and I still don't understand.
Yeah. We're flirting with a spoiler here, so let's back off that one. But we
didn't go into it.
We didn't. But
what we said, you can't pick up.
There's
on
no
it.
way. Yeah. So, but
the sever the nerve
that whole scene is just incredible though. Like that whole everything about it. It's like, this is awesome.
The best thing about that scene though. Is that the villain reminded me of the villain in the Netflix series Jessica
Jones.
Jessica Jones.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like
the Purple Man. Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely. And you're totally right, because if you look at it from the dastardly things that that's very, very true. That's exactly who it would. And I don't want to go into too much of them, but
but kind of similar thought process, right?
Exactly. Again, a very vile, which I think this was a very vile villain too. He was very, very hateable. And so was the Purple Man. He was absolutely atrocious. Horrible human being. And also, I feel like if you haven't seen the Netflix series, of all of them, I would watch Jessica Jones. Daredevil's a close second, but Jessica Jones was by far my favorite, I think.
I love Jessica Jones. I thought that was like I said, I think it's because of that relationship between the lead character and the villain, though. So I mean that's what makes it.
Yep, absolutely. So music.
Like the music in for the soundtrack wise.
Yeah.
I absolutely loved the soundtrack. I thought they did a good job with the music piece. I would say that there was a few spots where I wish they would have just turned it up just a little bit. I wanted just a little bit
more energy, or
no, just like more. Let me hear the music even more.
Okay,
right?
All right. I was actually talking about like the Don McLean song that they were listening to at the beginning and that sort of thing. But what are your?
Okay, so let's talk about that.
Yeah,
I mean, that's
Yeah, that was my thought. So the Don McLean thing, they play it there, and it's such a pivotal part of the movie, and it's such a random movie to have in this. You know what I'm saying?
I did not see that kind of a song being played.
Yeah, but my mom was really excited about it. She pointed out, she's like, you guys know who sings American Pie, right? And I'm like, oh yeah.
The funny thing that I seen about like the whole Don McLean scene, that whole aspect, here they are like fleeing the country, right? Mm-hmm. And as they're driving through Ohio, you're seeing all the great things about America, right?
Yeah.
And then it's funny they're playing American Pie, yet they're also probably trying to like burn the country down, right? So like it was like a little bit of irony that was
stuff,
that was kind of going through there.
Very cool.
What was another song that?
Okay, so probably my favorite song in the movie was when they're doing the montage. Which first off, like we didn't hear the Avengers theme hardly at all through this.
No.
You notice that?
No.
You hardly ever heard it. You heard a lot of like Russian songs and a lot of different ensembles, but the score never brought in the Avengers theme until way late. But then when it does, it's powerful, and it's like God, doesn't that sound just makes the hair stand up on the back of your neck? Like I love that song, or that tune. But okay, so "Smells Like Teen Spirit," played by whatever female band it was.
Is that Nirvana?
Nirvana,
Okay.
yeah, Nirvana playing "Smells Like Teen," or not wasn't them playing it, but "Smells Like Teen Spirit," where they're doing that on that montage where they're kind of like talking about their childhood and stuff like that in a quick montage. The music was so perfect because it's a woman band singing "Smells Like Teen Spirit." I loved that aspect of it.
I probably would not be able to pick out a Nirvana song if it was played next to me. I've never been good at it. Like I've never been a fan of that. I'm not saying I don't like a couple other songs. It's just that I don't know hardly any of their music. And it's a shame. It's probably like a shame for somebody my age because that was like in our generation.
Yeah, "Smells Like Teen Spirit" would have been the big one. That was
Didn't they have like one other one? What was the other one?
I Don't Have a Gun. It's called and I don't know what the name of the song is, but it's and I don't have a. That's all I'm gonna be able to think of now that you put me on the spot here.
That's like literally that's probably the only two songs.
Yeah, I remember listening to that one when I was like in a freshman in high school on the way to football games and stuff like that. That was a great song, great tune.
No, so there was a couple spots when I talk about turning it up a little bit. I remember one time she's in the car and the radio's on in the car, and you can tell like I thought it was a recognizable song, but maybe it wasn't. But I thought that would have been a great opportunity to like
I gotcha.
have that soundtrack come in right
through the fight scene. You mean or?
I thought it was right when she was pulling up to that stop sign before the fight with Taskmaster.
Okay,
and I thought it was right there, but
that could have been a good transition into the levity of it because it went from like out of nowhere, it's just okay, we're gonna fight and it's a big one.
Here we are, right?
Yeah, totally.
So other than that, like I said, I enjoyed the music to this, and I also liked back on the American Pie piece. I liked the throwback to that song later on to kind of build into some of the storyline then as well.
Yeah. I want to go back to the Nirvana thing because I feel like we're going to get chastised for this if we don't address it. They have a ton of great songs. It's not just one other one. They have a ton of great songs. It's just a matter. I knew what song you're thinking of. But yeah, anyway, regardless, for our own credibility, we need to acknowledge the fact that Nirvana is an incredible grunge band of the 90s, and they have a ton of great songs.
It's just not my style. That's
I get it's not your
you
style.
Can hate me for not having the same style.
I get it, but I just want to make sure that we acknowledge the fact that Nirvana has an incredible catalog of songs. Like, they really do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Their drummer's successful. He's like the lead singer of like Foo Fighters, right?
Yeah, he is. Yeah, David Grohl. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that guy.
Yeah, he's great. Yeah, he's very talented. Very talented. Anyway, let's go on to something else because they're gonna all they're gonna talk about after this podcast is Nirvana.
These guys don't know who Nirvana is.
Yeah. Anyway, so ratings. How would you rate it?
Oh, ratings. Man, if I had to choose, I'm gonna have to put this at a 7.7.
7.7.
7.7.
Okay. I think that's about right. I'm going to be a little bit more bullish on it than you are.
Of course.
I'm going to be a little bit more bullish on it than you are, and I'm going to say an 8.3.
Wow. 8.3.
8.3. I think 8.3. I rate it as far as like I said. I would say Thor: Dark World would be a 7. That's where I would put the baseline for all because it's my least liked Marvel movie, and it's still a really good one, but 7 would be the baseline of it.
Yeah.
And then figuring up from that, I would say this is a significant jump from that.
I think now don't hear me wrong. 7-7 in at least in my world is a really good movie.
Oh, yeah.
So
It is mine, too.
yeah. So I mean I'm putting it up there. I really liked this movie. I just can't put it in. It's not in the top echelons of Marvel movies to me though. I mean this is a
well, top echelon's going to be 9s.
yeah. I mean tickling there. So yeah.
You're going to put something. You're going to put.
I don't like this. Is why I don't like doing ratings. I don't like doing
Yeah,
ratings.
but if you throw out a rating,
breaking our rules right here.
If you throw out a exactly. If you throw out a rating, you got to defend it.
Okay, so like one of the I don't know the like
Guardians of the Galaxy, you wouldn't put it at over a 9?
yeah it may be like a 9.1.
Well, it's a 9.8.
No, there ain't like
It's a 9.8.
there's not a movie out there that's
It is a 9.8. No, it's one of those things like it's absolutely 9.8. It's just the fact that like so right now our movie is a 8.3 and a 7.7. It's going to be an 8 because it's going to be split between the two of us.
There
So
you go.
the rating of it would be an 8 collectively. So it's not like so you can put a movie as a 10, the perfect movie, The Godfather, the what am I missing here? With Andy Dufresne,
Yeah, Shawshank Redemption.
Shawshank Redemption, they're 10s. Pulp Fiction's a 10. I can list a lot of movies that are 10s. Guardians of the Galaxy almost ought to be a 10. I might defend it as a 10.
I'm not gonna lie, it's like my favorite movie.
Yeah,
So.
but to put it at a 9, you just
I have a hard time putting anything up there like that though.
yeah.
You have no room to grow then. If you put something at a 10, then there's no room to grow.
I didn't put it at a 10. I put it at a 9.8.
You said you could argue it as a 10 though.
I could argue it as a 10. I would. I would argue it as a 10.
All right.
It's a fantastic movie.
Great movie. Absolutely loved it. Final thoughts.
Okay, my final thoughts are first off, stay for after the credits.
Yeah, absolutely.
Make sure you stay after the credits because there is a post-credit scene per Marvel, and this is a big one you don't want to miss. So definitely stay after the credits. Next thing, I want to give a shout-out to Florence Pugh one more time because she was so great in here. Again, some of her scenes were just fantastic. I'm using fantastic too much again, but some of her scenes were just really great and really captivating in a lot of different ways. Again, she was vulnerable. She was strong. She was great. I loved Florence Pugh. And if you want to see more of Florence Pugh, Little Women is a big one, and so is Midsummer, which I think Midsummer is one of the wildest movies I've ever seen in my life. It is absolutely bonkers, and you should definitely watch that one. For sure.
Okay. All
You
right.
never
Well,
have.
hey.
That's a movie you have no clue what's ever going to happen from one second to the next.
So let's just talk about movie recommendations like that, like we talked about in our previous episode. We actually sat down and watched, my wife and I ended up sitting down and watching We Need to Talk About Kevin.
How was it?
It was very good. I would recommend. You're right on a single watch. I don't know if I can take.
It's not something you're going to watch multiple times.
No,
but
but,
it's a must see.
Great movie. So
We also saw Boss Level. We watched
What'd you
Boss.
think?
I loved it. It was pure unbridled violence from beginning to end, and it was a comedy. It was a dark comedy, but it was very much a comedy because it's violence, but it's like it's so lighthearted violence.
Yeah, it's a mix between like a comedy and like an 80s 90 action movie.
Yeah,
right?
and the thing is, you get to the point where you start knowing what's going to happen, and so like when he misses something, it's like, and he just and then it's just bam, there he goes.
misses that one little.
Yeah, he's like forgot one little thing,
Yeah. No, I had a lot of fun with that one. So anyway, I did want to just say like we do watch our
own recommendations
as well. So my final thoughts, if we're talking about the actors in this, I thought the entire cast was very well cast. I love the guy from the
Stranger Things.
Yeah, from Stranger Things. He was a good comic relief. You always have you don't want to go full like Jar Jar Binks, but you also don't want to have like no comedy whatsoever. I thought they did found him with a really cool mix.
Yeah.
And I didn't know a lot about his character, so that was kind of fun. I don't know if he's if that's like an actual.
He's an actual character, but I don't know
Okay.
too much about him either. So
Yeah, well,
I don't know too much about any of these characters other than Taskmaster. That's the only one that I would really is a really prevalent. I mean, well, Black Widow, of course.
Right,
but,
right. But no, I liked that dynamic. I really love the family dynamic in this. as the same time that that Fast 8 is out or Fast 9 is out.
Yeah.
I think this may compete with
Family
with it
stuff.
for a family stuff. Yeah.
Speaking
This
of
might be
family
it.
stuff, I don't want to cut you off here, but I do want to mention my dad. My dad apparently was doing interviews with people outside the movie theater. Yeah, Brett O.B. Weeks. Yeah, he was just asking people. He's like, he went outside. He always leaves early, whatever, or as soon as the movie's over. And anybody that walked out the door, he was just asking, "Hey, did you just watch Black Widow? What did you think of it?" And he's like,
It's funny because he asked that because we walked out a little bit before you, and he asked me that. So that's funny.
He asked me the same thing, and he said he got a ton of answers, and he really had fun with it. So next time we're just going to send him up outside
Well,
with
not
a
even
camera.
we should have gave him a camera.
Yeah,
So. One last final shout out as well to the Westland Theaters and Trevor. Thank you for hooking us up. I think this has made this a great podcast, and look forward to working with you all on future releases as well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, a lot of big movies coming up.
yeah,
But busy couple of years, and I got a movie bucket for the next 2 years. So you might as well get some use out of it, right?
absolutely.
Yeah.
No, that's for sure. So, well, hey, with that, I tell you what, the credits are rolling.
Lights are coming on.
And that's the end of the show.